Alrighty, a little package has arrived. This one comes from across the pond, from the United Kingdom. And this is from PV Electronics. So if you watched any of my earlier videos of Nixie clocks being built, you would recognize PV Electronics from the single class Nixie tubes. One of them was for the Delabore Farney Nixie tube, single Nixie clock that I built. It was the first electronics clock that I built. And then several others. And the only other clock from PV Electronics that I built was Nixie Clock Maestro. And I do have another single Nixie for the IN18 clock that I have yet to build. So I built the Delabar Farney Nixie clock, and you'll remember this big honking tube, compared to an IN18. Compared to size, I don't know if you can see that good enough because the lights are bright in here. But anyway, the problem with this one, and the clock itself still works, but the problem is the battery backup system doesn't work. I think it works, but I think the chip that keeps the memory is bad. So it's probably this big long chip. It's not keeping time. So I know the supercapacitor holds charge because it shows 5 volts. But the problem is that as soon as you unplug it, it loses time within seconds. So there's a problem with the chip itself because sometimes it will keep time for maybe a couple of minutes. It's supposed to keep time for a couple of hours. So it doesn't do that. It's almost instant. So instead of me having to worry about resetting the time, it's not hard to reset the time, but it's annoying. So and then you got to deal with the time changes and crap like that. Same thing with the Maestro clock. What's nice about these is that when you're dealing with the time change, you just hit one button. But the problem is you get this big bright LED that's always on during the summertime. You could take it out. Fuck it. So the backup clock system doesn't work. The clock works fine. It's a beautiful clock. So I went ahead on to. I'll have to email the PV Electronics, see if they'll send me another clock chip and see if the memory works. But anyway, going back to this little package here, let's open this up, see what's inside. Because it's something I've been wanting when I first bought these, but they weren't available, and it took a long time for them to become available. So when I moved this clock out to put the new operating system in here, I unplugged it, and when I plugged it in, it was back to default time. So that kind of sucked. So in the box, in the package, in the bag, are these little Wi-Fi. These are Wi-Fi time modules, and these are for these clocks with the 3.5 millimeter jack. That's right here. There's a little 3.5 millimeter jack for 2 options. You can either have a GPS clock synchronizer, or you can have the Wi-Fi module for the clocks. And I would assume that maybe these modules work for any clock with a 3.5 with the GPS system in it, where it can be, because the way this thing works is it kind of sends a dummy GPS signal to synchronize the clock. So that's pretty cool. So let's take a look at these on the PV Electronics website, and we'll come right back. So here we are at the PV Electronics website for the Wi-Fi NTP sync device for Nixie clocks. And the American price is $46.13. Currently sold out because I bought the last 3. It's compatible with all of their Nixie clocks with GPS input, with the 3.5 millimeter jack socket, has indicator lights, it has the main out power input. The baud rate is at 9600 BPS, so some clocks need to be set to that setting, and some are already preset. The data format is the GPRMC GPS sentence, so that means it sends a kind of a wannabe GPS signal to the clock to synchronize it. And of course, it gives you a 6-inch cord, and it's for indoor use only. And then you can go ahead and read the rest of the criteria here. And of course, when you visit the site, you can download the full user's guide, or you can visit my next video where I install this and set the clock up. So now we will return to the video already in progress. So there you go. As you can see that they're out of stock again because I bought the last 3. So that's pretty cool. And who the hell knows when they'll be back in stock, because I think when I first bought this, because I bought this clock kit like 3 years ago, and it took me a year to build it. I mean, it didn't take me to physically build it for a year. I mean, it took me a year when I bought it to put it together. And then when I bought it, then these modules were not in stock. And then when I built it, and just for giggles, when I was looking for other clocks to buy, these were not available. And then when I unplugged this to do an upgrade, and I unplugged this, it went back to default time, and I says, I wonder if that place has these modules, so I don't have to keep fussing with this thing. So they had them. I ordered 3 because I have 3 clocks. So this one, Maestro, and the other one that holds the IN18. Now they're out of stock again. So you get a 3.5 millimeter cord. It's your typical audio patch cord. And then you get the module itself. And then you get another little socket in case you don't have one soldered in already. So I put all the parts on because it's right here. And it's the same connector. So that's neat. And then we got the little module itself. Oh, you got to solder the module to the board. You think they would put that on, but oh well. I'll have to solder them on. So that's all this is. It's just a little tiny board. There you go. Little tiny board for the Wi-Fi module. And then the back, you get the little website. See how so close I can get it in. You can focus, come on. Behave. Am I too close? Probably. I got the focus spot right in the center, and I got this module right in the center. It won't focus. You little bugger. How about if we go with manual? Where's manual? There you go. Now you can read it. Pretty neat. So I'll have to solder that on, and then try to record. Go ahead and try to program this. So this is one of them deals where you power it up. It runs off the clock battery, clock power. So it gets the power off the clock board, and then you go ahead and plug this in to the back of the clock, and then plug it into the module after you solder the connector on. Power it up, and then go on your smartphone and do that typical Wi-Fi local network finding, and then find the to join this, and then you can go ahead and program your offset. So you, like in the Northeast United States where I am, I'll have to program I think a -5 UTC offset. And the UTC is actually military time. So like in this recording, the current time is 14 hours 56 minutes, and the current UTC time is 1900 hours and 57 minutes, and that's coordinated time. So if you're into the UTC time, which sometimes when you're a ham radio operator, or you're into the satellite stuff, all that time, they generally go by UTC time because it's worldwide. So no matter where in the world you are, UTC time is the same. Unlike the United States, where you get 4 different offsets. So if you're in the Northeast, and then you go over 1 time segment and 2 time segments and 3 segments, and then you get over to Hawaii, you got to subtract 4 hours. So if it's 8 a.m. here, it's 4 a.m. in Hawaii. So, the UTC time is a little bit more convenient because it's 1 time. So we'll have a little video on that, soldering this up and seeing if we can correctly get the time to display correctly on the single Nixie clock here. And then we'll go ahead and put it on Maestro. And then if I ever build the sister of this one, and then we'll put that module on there, and never have to worry about setting the time again, because as long as there's Wi-Fi access, it will always show the correct time. So thanks for watching. Be sure to hit that subscribe button here. Do it! Or I'll have Chuck Norris come make a visit with you. So thanks for watching. We'll see you on the next video. Bye.